Hey guys, it's Laurie from Cook Scrap Craft. Welcome back to the channel. Today's process video is for the May White with One challenge. Hard to believe I've been on the design team for 5 months already this year, and I'm having a blast creating with white as my base and using only one other color. So this month's color is a very beautiful blue, and it was sort of, I'd say like a tealy type blue. So what you see here is me going through some papers that I had previously pulled. Obviously there's more colors than blue there, but I'm just kind of going through trying to um, get everything together. I had pulled stuff from my stash, put it into a kit so I would have everything handy when I sat down, and that's usually how I start these challenges. I know what the color is going to be, so I just go through my stash and find everything that I have in that color. Some of the stuff that I picked wasn't exactly as bright as I had hoped, but I was just working with what I had in my stash at the time. So I love that polka dot paper, and I decided to use my 1-inch circle punch to punch these light blue circles out of that paper, because obviously the darker ones were too dark and then the other circles were all green, and that was not the color for this month. So my idea for this was to do some mixed media. I'm trying to think if the other ones, if I've done any mixed media, and now I can't think. I don't think I've done much mixed media with my White with One design team challenges, but don't worry, because I do have plans to mixed media it up like crazy. So on this one, I definitely wanted to do some mixed media. I pulled one of my ink daubers and I think like two colors of ink that I thought might work okay. And then what I'm doing here is I'm just getting my photos and some of the other pattern papers that I'm going to use ready. The photos were headshots taken of me at a work event last year, and I really liked the way they turned out. They were just sort of an impromptu thing. The photographer came up to me and said she wanted to take my picture. So I was just standing there. I'd been standing there talking to some coworkers, and I wasn't expecting them to look that great, but they ended up looking really nice. So I printed them out and decided to create a layout for it. I did have to cut them down to 4x4. I think they're both 4x4. They were originally 4x6, but there was a lot of just excess in the background. And since I wanted the focus of this layout to be me, I cut down the photos. So the very top, I haven't adhered it yet, but there's a light blue strip of paper. It's not super patterned. It's got a very light diamond pattern on it, but it does kind of look like a solid color when you're looking at it here in this video. So what I'm doing here is creating a background using some ink and my scrapbook.com ink dauber. And I love that thing because it has removable um, pads. So if you're in the middle, if you're using one color and you say, you know what, I want to use another one, which is what I'm going to do in a second, you can just remove the pad, put a fresh one on, and then you don't have to clean the pads in between colors. So I think it's time saving. Just remember to clean them when you're done. I forgot to clean mine, and the color was a little hard to get the color off, but that's okay. So the two colors, these were just or ink pads that I got at Michael's a couple of years ago. They were in the dollar spot. And I actually never used them before, but I really love the colors. One of them is sort of one of them is sort of just like a light blue, and then I end up adding in that Ingrid Bolm very tealy type of color. And as I'm working on this, I'm trying to mix both of the colors, and I really, really like the way it looks in the end. However, when I was thinking about the color for this challenge, I thought I kind of went a little too tealy. I kind of lost sight of that more like bright blue, sky blue. I think it's called azure. Is that how you say it? I don't even know. I kind of lost sight of what the color of the challenge was supposed to be, and so you'll see that I will realize that in a second. But when I go back and redo it, everything, the whole scheme of the layout is going to be very similar. So here I am again, redoing it with a different color ink. So that's another ink pad that I got at Michael's. Again, it's kind of like a light blue, and I'm just inking the edges of another strip of that pattern paper, and it's still going to go up at the top. I kind of wanted there to be the patterned paper and then a break where the rest of it's just white and it leads into all of the mixed media that I'm going to do. So this time around, I decide that I need to get a better focus on where I'm going to put all that mixed media. So it's still kind of going in the center, and you can already tell, you can see that blue a lot better than the original color I had used. And it definitely feels brighter, more of a sky blue color, which is actually my favorite color. So I'm just going to continue adding this ink to the background, and then I will be able to add more elements. All right, so I've got the top strip adhered. I cut out from a Recollections, I think it was Recollections. It was from Michael, so it's probably a Recollections, but there was a cut apart sheet of papers in this big paper pad, and it's supposed to be a journaling spot, but what I did instead was cover up the part where it says noted and just sort of used it as like a background frame. So you can't see the orange, which is good because that's not the color for this month. So I covered it up with the photos, and I did a little bit of an angle with the photos as well. And then I'm going to use those blue circles that I punched out to sort of almost create like a bubble effect going around my photos. And I have some additional ephemera pieces from an old Cheeky Studio kit back when I was on that design team. And those colors were, an approximation of the blue that I was going for. And then I had these bright blue flowers, fabric flowers in my stash. And I thought, what better time to use them than for a blue challenge? And I think they definitely add a little bit more color when I do look at the layout. Some of the blues that I chose, even though I felt like they were a sky blue, they're a little dull, especially under the light. So I like that the flowers kind of add a little bit of brightness to it, and that there are sort of different dimensions of the blue going on here, with the mixed media, with the frame, with the little circles that I punched out. So it's kind of nice that even though the challenge does give you one specific color, you can kind of work around that and just, um, go with other variations of that color as well. And black and brown and blue are always okay if you need to use those colors for your journaling or to do your titles. So don't feel like you have to use blue lettering. I actually end up using blue letters because I just happen to have some blue letters in my stash, and it's a very short title. I just titled it Me. Very self-explanatory. So normally I don't have enough letters to like make any title. I'm always like a couple E's or T's short or whatever, but I ended up having enough alpha letters. I don't even know the manufacturer of those alphas. I've had them for so long. You should see, I have 2 drawers full of alpha stickers. It's just crazy. So here I'm just kind of figuring out the placement of all those circles before I adhere anything down. And some of them I do want to pop up on foam dots. I am going to secure the fabric flowers just to get them in place because I don't really want anything to move. And then I'm also going to add some blue sequins just for an extra little pop of color and shine. I'm kind of obsessed with using sequins. I don't know what I like more, sequins or misting sprays. I don't know if you guys have a preference or if there's a certain technique or a certain product that you always have to use on your pages. I think for me it's either sequins or misting spray. That's my Xyron sticker maker. It's perfect for turning small embellishments or letters into stickers so that it's easier for them to adhere to the page. And then I also had 2 flare pieces, again from that old Cheeky Studio collection. I can't remember if I used both of them or just one of them, because technically I think there might be a little bit of like brown in those flare buttons, but the flowers are blue, so I just kind of went with it. But yeah, I'm just like randomly creating some embellishment clusters just to kind of go around the photo, and I'm trying to make sure they spread out around the page so there isn't a spot that looks bare. So that's my take on this month's challenge. If you head over to the White with One blog, you're going to see all the other design team pages. It's always so much fun to see what other people do with these challenges and the products that they have in their stash that fit the color scheme. We've got some really cool colors coming up later this year. I'm excited about ones that we have for the summer. you're not going to believe June's color. Believe I haven't even, as I'm recording this at the beginning of April, um, I haven't even started on my June layout because it's going to be such a challenge. But that's what I love about White with One, because it is such a challenge. And it's really kind of gets you thinking outside of your box when you're scrapbooking. So if you're the kind of scrapbooker who needs a little bit of a challenge, wants to do something a little bit different, come over and play with us. You can play for your chance to win some prizes, and we'd love to see you. It's in a Facebook group, so it's really easy to upload your photos to the Facebook album, and then everybody gives you comments and likes, and it's really fun. And then you can see what other people are doing, what all the other people are adding for the challenge, and converse with the design team, ask us questions, whatever you want. So those are the alphas I was talking about. They're kind of like a baby blue, and I was just kind of looking to see what letters do I have, what can I create. So I just chose me, very simple. And then I will add some journaling just so that I can remember the date of when I had these photos taken, and a little bit of background about like where they were taken and the story of what happened. So I really don't have much more to say about this layout. There's me doing the journaling. I did cut out some of the process only because it was kind of a long layout to create, just getting all those small embellishments in place and figuring out where to put them. But here you can see the finished layout, and I'm going to have close-ups following so you can get a better idea of what I'm doing. Oh, I had to trim some of that page. Some of the stuff like is 12 by 12 and then other pieces are not, so I had to do a little bit of trimming. No big deal. Nobody has to know. It's going to go in a page protector and nobody's going to be looking at it that closely, right? So don't worry about it. And then I am inking around the edges just because I felt like the white base needed just a little bit of something. And since I had done some inking on that top part, I figured I should just do it on the whole thing. So the close-ups are following. Make sure you play along. The link for White with One is below. Follow me on social media and the blog. All those links are below as well. Give this video a thumbs up, like, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Happy scrapping!